when she immediately resurrected from death. I found her when she was smelling, she was rotten. In fact, that smell would hit you as you enter the door. It was stingy. It was a smell of death. As I go to the mortuaries to do postmortems, that smell is only found in the mortuaries. I've been recording stepwise progress of the decomposing dead corpse that resurrected. I just want to say one thing. We have a prophet sent by God himself who has brought a decomposing corpse back to life. This is an amazing story, a stunning story, has never been done anywhere in any research institution. No life has ever been brought back. No dead corpse have ever been brought back in any hospital, in any research institution, in any facility, medical facility. This is a person who was dead and resurrected because of the authority of the mightiest prophet of the Lord. That is the authority that brought this lady back from death to life. And therefore, this is a shocking phenomena, stunning phenomena that has turned the tables down in the medical field, that now our eyes have been opened because we have never imagined or dreamt of bringing a dead corpse back to life.
We have just arrived at Mama Rosa's village of Cheparten. After the resurrection of Mama Rosa, this is what we have found. amefufua.
Mungu wa nabii amefufua. Mungu wa nabii amefufua Rosa. Mungu wa nabii amefufua Rosa. Mungu wa nabii amefufua Rosa. Mungu wa nabii amefufua Rosa.
Akachinyosha, kuchinyosha, mama akafanya
akatoa ulimi nje,
kukusingalia busana,
vitu kama mate nje,
akakuwa tukundale nyamulla.
akachinyosha, kuchinyosha, mama akafanya
opened the floodgates of heaven.
Amefungua malango ya mafuriko ya mbinguni.
I have seen the dead coming out of their graves. 1 week ago,
wiki moja iliyopita,
he showed me the dead get up and walk.
akanionyesha watu wakiamka na kutembea sasa.
The Lord wants to take over the church.
Bwana anataka kuliteka kanisa.
We are not going to come to even the dead will come out of their coffins.
Hata waliokufa watafufuka toka katika majeneza yao.
Hallelujah.
Mind your head. Your head here.
Hallelujah.
We are in the villages of South Pokot sub-county. You can see they are already written on the door. There is a message written on the door of that house. A message is written at the door of the house where Rosa Samson came back to life. And the message reads, "Thank you, Most High God of the mightiest prophet, for raising Rosa back to life. Thank you, mightiest prophet of the Lord. You intervened."
in das Leben gebracht hast. Und danke, mächtigster Prophet des Herrn, dass du eingeschritten bist. Liebe Leute, lasst uns jetzt reingehen in das Zimmer von Rosa und lasst uns das Bett anschauen.
Was standing here and she was with Rosa was with the daughter. So Rosa fell down.
There?
Yeah,
she was
there.
going to that toilet?
Yes, she was now coming out from the toilet.
Then she fell down?
She fell down. So the wife told the daughter, "You cannot carry me, you will not be able to carry me alone. Call your father." And the father was standing here. So he ran and carried Rosa all the way now to this room. This is where they stay. Amekufa, amechukua, she has beaten her tongue na macho iko open. Akaenda to the next room, brought this bed sheet here to cover now the dead body completely.
Bed sheet.
Yes, indicator baadaye. To cover now the face yenye iko nje, macho iko nje, the will. She has beaten her tongue. So this bed sheet was not here. She was brought from the other room. But amekufa kabisa, let's cover her completely.
Weka password.
So when the message arrived, well, the father went outside, called the daughters in.
Yes.
And they started now celebrating here. When daughter was covered. So when she died completely, we collected this sheet. I'm already. They have given up.
Praise the Lord! Ground zero. Yes. Yes. And as we are speaking right now, we are outside the house of Mama Rosa. Yes. Yes. We are just outside the house of Mama Rosa. Yes. And the crowd is very big, very powerful. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Big, 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 as you can hear the celebration from the only the bishops and some of the overseers, and as you can hear, they are really celebrating. she died and the house from where she resurrected.
Mungu wetu, Mungu wa nabii, Jehova amefufua. Mungu wetu, Mungu wa nabii, Jehova amefufua. Mungu wetu.
We have just been in the house where Mama Rosa died from. Oh, we have entered that house. I have. I have seen in the bed itself. The position, yes, exactly the position where it was is tremendous. Hey, 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 hey.
Mungu wetu, Mungu wa nabii, Jehova amefufua. 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 Revival, 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 revival,
Mamangu angekuwa wapi? Na sisi tungekuwa wapi? Na kama kama tungejua Mungu, Mungu angeenda. Angekuwa ameenda kabisa. Tulikuwa siku ya Jumatano.
Kiasi nyaba Jumatano
saa 12.
Pale saa 12 mwanangu.
Tulikuwa tunachimba viazi.
Umetaja pale viazi.
Tukachimba viazi.
Ya pale cha viazi ne?
Saa ile ya kulenga.
Sana mimi taketa nimleti.
Mamanga akatoka nje.
Huyo nyali tisang.
Akakuja kukaa hapo.
Utapesana tena.
Akaongea.
Tungalan.
Mamangu ni mtu wa kupenda story sana.
Yonyaki tunangalia loli nyaman.
Anaongea sana.
Loli nyaman.
Akakuja kuongea.
Kungu tungalan.
Tukakaa naye tu hapo nje, tukasomba tu viazi kwa nyumba.
Kesa mbona viazi ngerichi kaka mnyenda sang.
Mama akatoka nje.
Ai buawa changu monda zilipiona sang.
Na akateremka njia tu ile.
Tunaitawaleka hapo.
Mimi nikasimama tu hapo nje.
Ayo ngabadi tele sang.
Akaenda.
Kubwa.
Akaenda kukaa huko sana.
Wote bwana nini aman?
Nikaambia babangu, hata baba yangu, mama ameenda huko chini sana, ameenda kwa muda sana. Kwa hiyo wanapoina pora nyenye kwa ngoma. Akaniambia hakuna kitu. Kule ndarba mimi yetu. Mama akatoka nje. Kule tuliona sana mimi niko tu kusimama hapo nje kuangalia. Mimi tabalonga dale kilo rerose. Na si ya kawaida aende hivyo. Amefanya pia kuweka lenyoni. Anaenda tu na anakuja haraka. Wewe baba tamula wewe. Nikaangalia mamangu. Arasa yonyo anataka anataka kuchikinga kwa nini kwa fence. Kumaka yonya kutinga ile karati. Akaanguka. Kuchenta. Mimi nikakimbia. Aripan nikamshikilia. Anaman. Nikaona siwezi. Sasa wale mamuka nye na mtoto. Wa morning. Nikaita babangu. Hakuna baba nyen. Baba. Papo. Kuja. Nyona. Nikamwambia mamangu ameanguka. Alenda kuputi yonyan. Akakuja. Akakimbia. Urupa. Akamshikilia. Kunamnide.
Basi nikataramuka mpaka pale. Nikapata mama anatetemeka. Pia na kuhema. Alikuwa akipumua zaidi. Basi mimi nikachukua pole pole mpaka kwa nyumba. Nikaweke mahali kwa nyumba, mahali iko kitanda. Na hii kitanda ni ya kuunganishwa mabenchi.
Saa hiyo mama yangu ataonia ni wenyande. Damu inapiga sana. Ndio kisa nyoman. Moyo inapiga sana. Ripani kisa ndio na mama kula nyoman. Na anapumua sana. Hakumungacha. Mama yangu akaita Esther. Kurbabu yona Esther. Esther. Ile Esther. Kuja hapa. Yona hii. Akaambia Esther mimi naenda. Mmoja Esther na mimi kawete. Lakini narudishia Mungu asante. Ayogina dorosare. Amenilinda na watoto wangu mpaka saa hii. Nilipanga mbona jamba kaye. Watoto wangu wamekuwa wakubwa. Kile tu mbona chan. Watoto wangu hawezi teseka tena. Lakini mbona cha kunga na mkae na baba yenu. Amburinga kwani. Esther nimekuacha mkono ya babako. Esther kwa pushi ni mari kwa baba huyu. Esther akamuuliza unaenda wapi mama? Baba Esther la wewe nyanya yo. Akarudi kwa babangu kumchipa Esther. Kimamanya ngine Esther kumeleje kwanda. Akamwambia babangu, kumwacha babonyala Samson. Asante kwa muda hiyo yote. Sarumba baranda na ala wuru. Asante kwa kunilinda na watoto wangu muda hiyo yote. Sarumba lakini bani kwa mwone cha baranda na ala wuru. Huku niwacha. Ambia pistani nyinyi. Lakini narudishia Mungu asante tena. Yogina darasa la kungata. Watoto wangu wamekuwa. Kile tu mwone chana. Mimi naenda. Kwa wan. Babanga anamuuliza unaenda wapi? Ya babonya alewete nyana. Wakati yangu imefika. Kila kitu kuleta paro intanyan. Na kusimia akanyosha tu mikono yake. Utamar na kinyike. Na kunyosha tu miguu kabisa. Akimite kutake nyike kabisa. Na kukojoa. Akisakas.
Akachinyosha. Kuchinyosha. Mama akafanya wakati alikochoa akatupa ulimi nje, akauma ulimi, macho sikalala nje, ni kukata roho.
Na kaenda hivyo akatoa ulimi nje, kumusingalia busanga vitu kama mate nje, akakata kundale nyangula macho. Sasa akatoa macho nje, kuchiri nyukoni malikoni sang. Mimi nikajaribu kushika. Hata Allah anamanda mle. Nikalia. Allah kan.
Mama alikuwa amekufa kitambo. Amekufa. Kutasama mama. Amekwisha, ulimi iko nje, macho iko nje.
Tukashika miguu ati tunajaribu kukunja, nikajaribu kukunja haikunjiki.
Ana makelele hata yokuna la makuyokunya kelele.
Nikarudi kushika roho.
Ayumela ana mkulu.
Amenyamaza. Nikajua ameenda.
Andi twala kikuwa.
Nikashika uso.
Ana moleta kach.
Nikarudisha ngozi ya macho.
Ayo kwa kwani ti ana mlenda kwa ayo kwa.
Aiteremuki. Mimi nikaenda kuchukua siti.
Awachana shipu.
Tukamfunika yeye.
Yeye anachanyinde.
Na mimi tu niko nafunika mama, na shughulika na mama. Nakulia machozi ya uchungu kwa sababu ya mke wangu. Nilikuwa nalia sana. Nikasema nimepoteza huyu mama. Nikawa na uchungu zaidi.
nikaanza kutetemeka.
Atorapata.
Nikatoroka nikakimbia nje.
Alipasai.
Mtoto wa dadangu akanifuata.
Tulipani montaje pencha.
Tukapiga nduru nje.
Yeriye jasang.
Majirani wakakuja.
Tukapata rishwalo ding.
Akaniuliza hivi ni nini mbaya?
Ile jana hivi nini kwenye?
Mama yangu ameenda.
Amua chaliki kuwenye.
Tukasidi kupiga nduru.
Ndio sijata geriria.
Wachirani sasa walikuja. Walikuja tu kuangalia hivi wanakimbia.
Nikasikia nduru inatoka kwa jirani. Nikakimbia mbio pao kwa jirani, nikapata watu wanatoroka nje wakipiga nduru. Sasa nikafika nje nikauliza watoto, "Kwa nini ndo mnalia?" Hawaongei. Nikaingia kwa nyumba ndani. Kufika kwa nyumba ndani nikapata ni mama ametoa ulimi nje na kutoa macho nje. Na pao fiko kwa mdomo. Sasa nami nikatoka nje mbio nikakimbia. Nikakimbia mpaka sasa nikamuita huyu rafiki yangu huyu. Nikamwambia kuja tuende nyumbani. Sasa akasema adhimi sieti sasa nyumbani. Nikamwambia kuja tuende nyumbani. Sasa nikamwamsha nikamwambia tukimbie mbio. Kufika nyumbani kijana akaingia kwa nyumba. Kufika kwa nyumba akaangalia mamake akatoka nje akilia. Kufika nje akakaa chini akalia kabisa.
Nilikuwa hoteli.
Tumeenda hotel.
Niliitwa na rafiki yangu huyu. Aliniita. Akaniambia tuende nyumbani. Nilipofika nyumbani akanifungulia mlango. Akaniambia ingia huko ndani. Nilipoingia ndani nikaona mama yangu amekufa. Nikaona madada yangu analia. Mama amekufa. Nikakaa nje na nikalia kabisa. Nikajihurumia sana.
Mama ni mzima sasa, usilie. Tunasherehekea kufufuka kwa mama. Jana ndio kueleza.
Mimi nikatoka. Tukakaa sana.
Nikapigia Pastor Jairus. Mama hayuko tena.
Mimi naitwa Pastor Jairus Mnangat wa Jerusalem Altar hapa ambayo iko Chaparten, madhabahu ya toba na utakatifu.
Hii ndio madhabahu unasema?
Hii ndio madhabahu nasema inaitwa Jerusalem Altar. Ndio.
Wewe ndio senior pastor?
Mimi ni senior pastor wa maeneo haya.
Ndio.
Ndio.
Na uhusiano wako na Samson ni nini?
Samson tunashiriki pamoja na yeye katika Jerusalem Altar.
Naona watu ni wengi hapa.
Ndio.
Nielezee kwako kwa kiufupi nini iliendelea na we mwenyewe unaingiaje kwa hii picha?
Mimi jinsi ninavyoingia katika hii picha nitarudi nyuma tarehe 21 Jumatano. Samson alipikia mjane Mama Ruto ambaye alikuwa katika kesha kwamba mke wake amekata roho, naye Mama Ruto alichukua hatua ya kunipikia simu, nami nikashtuka kwa sababu alisema mke wa Samson amekufa na tunafaa kwenda kule. Nami nikashtuka nikachanganyikiwa, lakini kilichokuja akilini mwangu nikajua kwamba nabii ako katika nchi. Na nikawa na nambari zake 4 za simu. Nikachukua zile nambari 4 nika type message na nika send kwa nambari 4 hizo. Na kwa nambari 2 message ilifaulu kuingia.
Unasema ilifaulu, kuonyesha zingine mbili zilishindikana.
Zingine mbili zilishindikana. Na wakati ni simu yangu ilisema message has been delivered, nami hapo nikatulia, nikasema mradi ujumbe huu umefikia kwa nabii mkuu wa Bwana,
wacha yeye aamue.
Waja yeye aamue. Mimi nilipikiwa simu na Mama Ruto.
Ndio.
Kwamba mke wa Samson amekata roho. Kwa hivyo hapo nikajua mambo yameharibika. Na kitakacho tu fanya mambo yawe sawa ni kuhusisha mambo haya nabii mkuu wa Bwana.
Ndio.
Na hapo ndipo niliandika message na nikatuma kwa nambari hizo 4 na 2 sikaonyesha kwamba message imefaulu. Na nikatulia. Nilikuwa nimeshtuka hapo awali, lakini nikatulia sasa kidogo.
Ndio.
Kwa hivyo nikampikia Samson, akasema mambo yameharibika.
Wakati message ilikuja, kwa sababu tunajua ya kwamba hii nabii mkuu wa Mungu alituma yeye, na lazima kitu akisema kitu lazima itatendeka hivyo. Na kwa sababu tulipata mara ya kwanza message ya nabii wa Mungu kama Wapokot, tukajua ya kwamba tumekumbukwa.
Ujumbe ukatumwa kutoka kwa nabii mkuu wa Bwana.
Ndio.
Kwamba it is well. Na hiyo message ilipofika kwamba it is well, nikapikia kina Mama Ruto ambao walikuwa kesha, na nikapikia Samson familia yake, na naambiwa kwamba sherehe iliendelea katika huko kesha.
Nilikuwa kesha na hii wa mama. Wakati message ilikuja, tukaona ya kwamba it is well. Tukasherekea na hii wa mama. Kikututirasa, 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 kikututirasa. Maana yake Rosa, Mungu it is well imekuja na Mama Rosa imefufuka. Tukasherekea tukifurahi. Yesu. nabii mkuu wa Mungu. Mungu alituma yeye. Na lazima kitu akisema kitu lazima itatendeka hivyo. Sasa ndio tulisherekea bila kuokopa, tukasherekea, tukalia, wengine wanalia, wengine wanalia Yesu, tukasherekea Yesu, Yesu, tukasherekea mpaka asubuhi.
Na sherehe pia iliendelea kwa Samson.
Mungu akashughulikia ile message, alitumanisha hivi, ikarudi hivi. Na mnabii wa Mungu amesema it is well. 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 Basi wakati hiyo message ilikuja, nabii amesema it is well. Wakati alinirejeshea message, nikashika, nikahandle. Lakini wakati neno lilipokuja, nikatoka nje, nikasimama kwa mlango, nikaita wasichana yangu, nikaambia kwa kipokota, "Kaneka, kucha ndani. Iko maneno. Iko maneno hapa. Iko message. Iko maneno hapa." Hai.
Babanga akatuita, akasema mkuje. Tuma la mkana, maana of God ametuma message. Mimi nikasimama kwa mlango. Owuor kukat. Mimi niko na uoga sana, nimetetemeka. Kuna serikali akapata na nyoman. Akasema kuja soma hii message. Kile ndio aliyosoma na kungoliotana. Na akasoma. Kusoma.
Nikaambia msichana, angalia, imetoka kwa nabii wa Mungu na amesema it is well. Nikamwambia let us celebrate. Wacha tusherekee.
It is well. Kwa kunyaka mole tena. Hiyo neno ikanitia nguvu sana.
Na amesema it is well. Nikamwambia let us celebrate. Wacha tusherekee.
Na tukaanza kusherekea. Akitoka akisherekea, Mungu hajafufuka. Tukasema kama mtumishi nabii wa Mungu amesema, atatendeka hivyo.
Hapo sasa ndio tukaanza kusherekea. Wakati niliambiwa ya kwamba imekuwa it is well, mimi nikasema kuna nini ingine tena? Kuna nini tena inashinda? Na imesemekana sawa sawa.
Kama nabii amesema it is well. Kama anataka kwenda tarara tena yo ni hivyo. Hajafufuka hata mngekututi.
Hapo na hapo kapika chapia. Mama akakohoa.
Akapika chafya. akapumua kidogo. Umuvite. Tukongojea yakawacha atukushika manama chanye tukufunu kuwa hiyo nini malazi mwango chanye marangeti na chai akapumua sana kumupya akaanza kupumua lakini nikafungua hiyo siku kutupa kando na blanketi nikafungua hiyo siku kutupa kando na blanketi nikamshikilia akae chini. Mwana na mada tapangu mimi nikaogopa. Nikaita babangu nje. Hakuna baba nyama sana. Kuja umshikilia akae chini. Mwana na mada tapangu akakuja akashikilia akakaa chini. Mwana na mkumburu. Akaniuliza, "Kitu hapa ni nani amenirudisha?" Nani kayopa nikamwambia ni Yesu. Akaniuliza tena mara ya pili, "Kitu hapa ni nani amenirudisha?" Nani kayopa na nikamwambia ni Yesu.
Nikafungua ile blanketi. Akaniambia uniinue. Mimi nikamuinua akae chini. Wakati alikaa chini, akamwambia ni nani alinirejesha? Msichana akamwambia ni Yesu alikurejesha. Yesu, 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 Yesu. Mama akarudia mara ya pili, ni nani alinirejesha? Msichana, ni Yesu. Kwa sababu nimekamata yewe agemea hapa mimi, nikamwambia ni Mungu amekurudisha. Lakini neno ya nabii ilisimama na kumuinua. Haleluya.
Tukasherekea. Kasherekea nata mpaka asubuhi. Saa 11 mpaka tukoga akalala. Kurudi saa 11 tukasherekea hivyo. Kasherekea jabale nyingi. Watu wakakuja. Sapit tukasherekea hivyo. Kasherekea jabale nyingi. Hata mpaka saa hii bado tunasherekea.
Mpaka leo tunaendelea kusherehekea.
Ayokina tarasa roho kutuma nabii wake. Wakati wa mwisho wa kufufua wafu. Mungu kwa kutuma nabii. Yokini tarora kugielwe kwa ndanye. Akisema itiswali bado namuokopa sana. Dinike mwanzo sana.
It is well. 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 It is well.
nimetambua ni nabii wa Mungu. Na ninampongeza na ninamshukuru kwa sababu yale amenitendea kwa ajili ya mke wangu.
Senior consultant surgeon at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital with an experience of more than 20 years. In fact, today I should be operating patients at the referral hospital. That's why I'm here today. Nowhere in the medical literature where somebody has come back, somebody whose heart has stopped, the lungs have collapsed, the blood have clotted in the blood vessels, brain death have said, the brain have died. Nowhere in the whole world. That's why I thank the mightiest prophet of the Lord. History, science, whichever field you mention has been changed. Let me just explain to you briefly why Rosa had to cough and sneeze. Because the lungs had collapsed. So she had to jump start the lungs to cough. This is a mighty miracle. A mighty miracle. My names are Dr. Sakari Kasepoi, Senior Deputy Director of Medical Services here in Kenya, Professor of Medicine and Surgery at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. I'm a consultant surgeon and urologist. I've been consulted in various hospitals in this town of Eldoret and also outside Eldoret. Today, I'm going to talk about an issue, a shocking and amazing phenomenon, a stunning one that has never been written anywhere, never been heard anywhere. I'm the one who is presiding over this shocking phenomenon, amazing phenomenon of Mama Rosa. I've been recording stepwise progress of the decomposing dead corpse that resurrected. These are decomposing dead corpse that resurrected by the name of Mama Rosa. Never been written anywhere, never been written in any surgical books. This Swart's Principle of Surgery, 9th edition. There's nowhere in all medical books that I've come across where a dead body has resurrected. In fact, death by definition is a terminal thing, it's irreversible. And therefore what I'm talking about today is reversal of death. Somebody who had decomposed and resurrected. And therefore, since I certified the death and resurrection of Mama Rosa, I've been recording stepwise the recovery processes of this person. When Mama Rosa died, I was privileged to witness how she looked like when she immediately resurrected from death. I found her when she was smelling, she was rotten. In fact, that smell would hit you as you enter the door. It was stingy. It was a characteristic smell of death.
Mimi ni Mama Ruto, mchane. Na mimi ni wa maeneo haya Chebarten, South Pokot. Na hii nyumba ni nyumba ya Mama Rosa enye alifufulia. Wakati nilisikia it is well ndio nikakuja asubuhi mapema. Nikakuja hapa na nikakuja kuingia hii nyumba. Wakati niliingia hii nyumba, sasa wakati nilifungua mlango, ufundo na harufu ikanipika. Sasa ilikuwa mbaya sana. Hiyo ufundo na harufu ilikuwa mbaya sana. Sasa nikarudi nyuma. Vile nilirudi nyuma nikakucha mpaka hapa. Sasa nikasikia nikafikiria it is well. Ya chana nikakuwa na uchasiri pamoja na imani nikarudi tena. Vile nilirudi nikaenda kupata Mama Rosa. Analala hiyo kitanda yake si ni kitanda yake hiyo. Sasa hiyo kitanda yake wakati sasa nilifika nikafunua mrengeti. Vile nilifunua mrengeti, Mama Rosa ilikuwa na harufu mbaya sana. Alikuwa mbaya sana ya kunuka hata maiti. Wakati niliingia mlango,
and she tells us when she approached the door,
nikasikia harufu funde.
The rotting stench of death hit her.
Nilirudi hata nyuma kidogo.
And caused her to retreat back and out of that room. She went back a bit.
Na nikasema amefufuka kweli.
And then she asked herself, has she really resurrected?
That characteristic smell is only found in the mortuaries. And when I entered that door of Mama Rosa, when she resurrected, that smell hit me and I knew, surely this person must be dead. It's only because of the breathing movements that alerted me that she was alive. But the stench of smell was so bad, the odor was very characteristic of a dead person. And I knew that for sure, this lady had rotten intestines. Because when you die, it takes very short time for all your organs to rot, to decompose. The eyes were bobbed because of the blood had bobbed out. The eyes had bobbed out. The tongue was swollen, had filled the mouth because of the decomposing tissues and the bloating from the gas being released by the bacteria, the decomposing bacteria. When I looked at her at that time, the skin was very dark. The characteristic color of death was very dark and hard. For sure, when I looked at her, she looked more of a corpse than a living person. Dead corpse. It was very smelly, very stingy, and the skin was dark. The lower limbs were edematous, were swollen. Her eyes were white. She was pepper white. She was stiff like wood. She was wood like stiff. All her joints were rigid. In other words, she had undergone the full course of rigor mortis. The full course of rigor mortis that occurs during death because of lack of adenosine triphosphate that causes relaxation and contraction of muscles. So this lady for sure was rigid like wood, was stingy, was smelly. The dependent parts of the body were swollen. The tongue was filling, the mouth was swollen. The eyes had popped out. It was very scary to look at her. The bones are very visible and prominent. And when I recorded the progress in this lady, to my surprise, I learned that in fact she was not seeing and she was not hearing anything. For 6 days, she was not able to hear anything or see. Her eyes were wide open, but she could not perceive anything. This is a person who was dead and resurrected because of the authority of the mightiest prophet of the Lord. That is the authority that brought this lady back from death to life. And when she came back to life, this lady, the words that she mentioned was Nani ameni rudisha. And from that time henceforth, she did not speak again. She slept most of the time. For 3 days she was sleeping. She did not eat anything. In fact, we forced her to eat, but whatever we gave her, we tried to give her milk, half a cup of milk, and she threw all out. She vomited. This lady, the intestines were rotten. That's why she could not tolerate any food. She could not take anything. The instinct in me, I wanted to rush her to an ICU. In fact, this somebody was supposed to be in an ICU setting, not even a hospital ward, but in an ICU. And when I wanted to rush her to ICU, then I remembered that this is a person who was dead and resurrected because of the authority of the mightiest prophet of the Lord. That is the authority that brought this lady back from death to life. The authority, the words spoken by him who is in this land, who said only 3 words, that it is well. And those are the words that brought this lady back to life. And when she came back to life, she asked, who brought me back? And in Kiswahili she said, Nani amenirudisha? 2 times. And the answer she was given was, Yesu amekurudisha. In other words, Jesus has brought you back. And since that time, she never mentioned any words. For 3 days she did not eat anything. For 3 days she was asleep. And on the 4th day, that's when she started taking liquids. So for all those 3 days, it's a wonder that she was not eating anything but alive. What surprises me most as a doctor and as a surgeon, with more than 21 years of experience in this field, approaching 22 years, is that when you cut the blood supply to your brain, 3 to 5 minutes, it's dead. You go to a state, we call it brain death, irreversible brain death. In other words, you don't reverse the death of the brain. So what surprises me, and it's a sign and a wonder to me, is that how did the brain of this lady recover? How was she able to recover the functions of the brain? Because we know once you have brain death, that's the end of you, that's the end of the brain, it's irreversible. Neurons don't regenerate. Once your neurons have gone, the astrocytes have gone, they don't regenerate again. That's the end of that brain. And therefore, it's a wonder that this lady, on the 6th day, since I recorded all in my diary, in my surgeon's diary, my surgeon's journal, I recorded all here and all is written here. I recorded everything that happened in this lady because I was so interested. I was surprised in the first instance. I was shocked that a dead person, a dead body, that was smelling, that was decomposing, resurrected. And therefore I took keen interest in all that was happening in her body. And after 6 days, that's when her vision came back. She was able to see. That's when her hearing came back. And she was able to speak and taste something. She told us, now I can taste this food. It tastes as if there's excess salt. That's when we were surprised that all this time when we were feeding, on the 4th day, she was not able to know what she was eating because she could not see and she could not taste. Therefore, I wondered how a dead brain came back to normal. How was she able to recover her vision? How was she able to recover back her hearing? Let me take you back. When she resurrected, she sneezed and coughed. And for sure, any dead person, the lungs would have collapsed. The alveoli had collapsed. We call it atelectasis. And I'm sure there were a lot of secretions in the airway. She sneezed 3 times and brought out a lot of secretions. Then she started breathing. That breath of life, to me, is what changed everything. It's the game changer. That breath of life that came to her brought life. The lungs expanded. The brain came back to normal. And the cardiovascular system, when you shut off oxygen to the heart, the myocardium dies. You get what we call myocardial ischemia. And once your heart muscles are dead, they are dead. They don't recover, they don't regenerate. And the arterial node was able again to generate the impulses that excites the entire heart to beat in a regular manner. And to me, I don't know whether I will say regeneration of the heart muscles or a new heart. This lady must have received a new brain, new lungs, new heart for her to come to normality the way she is today. Because after 6 days, her memory came back, the short-term memory. She was able to remember people. She was able to call her children by name. She was able to call her husband and recognize her husband by name and be able to see things on the 6th day. So to me, this is a big miracle, a sign and wonder that has never been recorded anywhere. We have never recorded anywhere where it refers for brain death comes back to normal, to life. This lady, she was so stiff as wood. But over time, remember, for the first 3 days, she was asleep. She could not be able to even speak. But on the 4th day, 2 people would hold her to sit down and another one to feed her. This has improved tremendously now that on the 7th day, she was able to feed herself. Remember that for the first 1 week, she was being fed. The first 1 week, she was being held to sit on the bed. She could not sit on herself. She had lost all her milestones. This was a dead corpse that resurrected. She lost all her milestones. She lost her vision, she lost her hearing, she lost even her musculoskeletal system. Her muscle power had gone down. She could not sit. And she's continued recovering stepwise and stepwise. On the 6th day, as I said, her memory came back. The short-term memory, but not the long-term memory. For the first time since she resurrected, remember that this lady was feeding. She was eating from the 4th day, but she did not go to the washrooms. That was a surprise to me. In other words, the gastrointestinal system was dead and was resurrecting slowly by slowly. From the smell that was emanating from her breath, you could tell that the intestines were dead. And therefore it took time for the peristalsis to come back, to be able to push and digest the meals downstream. So after 2 weeks, I clearly documented it here on my book, that after 2 weeks, I was waiting eagerly to know what will happen when she goes to the washroom for the first time, when she will be able to relieve herself. My expectations were to be very difficult for her to relieve herself after all that time. I thought she would experience constipation, severe constipation. And I thought she would need an enema or a stool softener. But to my surprise, she relieved herself normally. No problem. In fact, it was not a big issue to her. That was a very big surprise to her and a big relief to me. On the 7th day, let me take you back, she coughed a bit. And I was really worried that this cough, does it signify that the lungs have not expanded fully? That does she still has atelectasis? So I took her to a hospital for a chest x-ray, just to find out how do the lungs look like. The medical instinct in me said most probably the lungs are not fully expanded, or there was a lot of secretions in the lungs, or there is atelectasis. And when we took the chest x-ray, to my surprise, to my astonishment, the chest x-ray looked normal. The lungs were fully expanded, very normal. And to me, it looked like this lady had new lungs. It looked like as if the Creator who created us, the Creator of heaven and earth, the Creator who created all living beings and all living things, seen and unseen, must have created a new heart, must have created a new brain, must have created new lungs. That's why she had perfect life. She did not go to ICU as I expected. I thought for sure this lady was going to go to an ICU. When you are dead, the acid balance in you goes haywire. You develop what we call metabolic acidosis, respiratory acidosis. But this lady, there was no corrective measures that we did to her. We did not give her bicarbonate. But her pH came back to normal. Her metabolic acidosis, respiratory acidosis came back to normal. Her electrolytes came back to normal. I expected it to be very bad, but came back to normal given the way she was recovering, stepwise, in a sure and steady recovery. When somebody dies and there's no circulation of the blood, it usually clots in the blood vessels. I'm sure this lady, the entire blood vessels in the body had clogged with blood. There was blood clots. How those blood clots were broken and the blood became fresh again to continue taking oxygen and the nutrients to the entire body is a shock to me, stunning to me. I cannot explain, but what I know is that the Lord, the Creator of heaven and earth, must have created new blood also in her. Because how do you break a clot in the entire system and create new blood, fresh blood, that will be able to circulate oxygen around your body? To me, that's a big surprise. I was privileged to be in the National Bishops' Council meeting that was in Nairobi. I was called to give a testimony of how Mama Rosa, who had died and resurrected, was recovering. Therefore, in that meeting, Mama Rosa, when I was leaving home to that meeting, I brought Mama Rosa to a specific place where I always monitor. Every day I make sure that I monitor any changes in her body. And whatever new changes happens, I usually record in my book. So I had the privilege of knowing exactly what was going on in Mama Rosa's body. Therefore, when I was called to Nairobi, Mama Rosa had not walked. Mama Rosa was still being carried. If you remember, that's what's after this being circulated. Mama Rosa was carried from one position to another position. She was not able to walk, but at this time she had sat on herself, not being supported. So the mightiest prophet of the Lord, he had seen how Mama Rosa is walking. I was surprised, but I knew Mama Rosa was not going to walk that soon. So when the mightiest prophet of the Lord described to us how he has seen Mama Rosa walking, to me I thought it would be 2 weeks down the line. But to my shock, the following day, that was on a Friday, I was seated in the upstairs of my room, and Mama Rosa was in another room downstairs, and it was around exactly 2:42 p.m. That was on a Friday, 7th of July 2017. I heard noise coming from down. People were shouting, and to me I was scared. I thought Mama Rosa most probably had collapsed, had fell from her bed, and needed my attention. So I ran down very fast, expecting to see the worst of Mama Rosa. But when I went down, I found Mama Rosa walking.
sawa.
It was a big surprise to me. In fact, I joined in the celebration. I joined the shouting. I joined the joy of celebration. It was a reflex celebration because I expected Mama Rosa to be seated on the bed or lying on the bed. But when I found her walking, I joined in the celebration. Joyous celebration. It was unspeakable joy. And when I finished the celebration, then the thought of the mightiest prophet of the Lord came back to me. For sure, Mama Rosa was walking exactly the way the mightiest prophet of the Lord had demonstrated to us in Nairobi. That was a big shock to me. Then I realized, who is this person walking amongst us? Who could foretell things that are happening tomorrow? For sure, this is the person that had the authority to resurrect Mama Rosa. And again, was able to foresee what was going to happen the following day. And Mama Rosa exactly walked stepwise the way the man of God had described in Nairobi. The joints started to soften up. If you look at her shoulders, on that WhatsApp picture, you'll find that the shoulders are rigid, the hands are crossed across, very rigid. She had undergone full course of rigor mortis, but started to soften up. In fact, since that day when she started walking, she has been improving steadily and gradually. Now she can be able to move her shoulders, which are rigid and fixed. This lady, for sure, since she resurrected, the progress has been slow. The reversal of death has been slow and sure. The process of recovery was slowed down a bit, but she's recovering. Now the long-term memory came back on the 2 weeks down the line. That was on 8th of 7th when he was talking to her. She remembered things. That was on 8th of July 2017. She remembered things that had happened 10 years ago. She told us the stories of her childhood. That's a very big surprise to me. Stunning surprise, a shock, amazing that somebody who had brain dead was able to have her neurons back and all the memory being brought back. In fact, she told us all with fine details of what had happened 10 years ago when she was young, where they were living before they moved to a new place, how her children were, how she gave birth to her children. All the fine details. And another enigma, beloved people, is that this Apokot lady who didn't know Kiswahili. The only language she knew was her native language of Pokot. The first Kiswahili she talked was when she resurrected and asked, Nani amenirudisha? That's in English is who has brought me back. And the answer she was given back was, Yesu amekurudisha. Jesus has brought you back. She asked that twice and she was given the answer, the same twice. And after that she didn't speak any other Kiswahili till these 2 weeks where she started now speaking fluent Kiswahili.
Mimi narudishia Mungu asante.
Yokina tarara sara.
Rudisha Rosa ile ilikuwa ngeosa saa hii.
Nyoga yokurosa nyoga takini nia. Nyoga yokisapot.
Kwa sasa
akwenda ye.
Turudishie Mungu hii yetu hii.
Yokina tarara tunyonye tenye.
Asante.
Sara.
Alafu mjue hakuna Mungu mwingine kama hii ya nabii. Na leo kila siku mimi nilikuwa ongea Kiswahili.
Sisi tunafanya Kiswahili.
Mpaka nimeongea.
That's an enigma I cannot explain. Somebody who didn't know Kiswahili, now she's speaking a new language. Apart from the full memory, all the information has been brought back to her brain. Now another language has been added unto her. In fact, when she spoke over the radio, Jesus is Lord Radio, her Kiswahili was fluent. And remember, this is a lady who didn't know Kiswahili. She didn't go to school. And therefore, the only language she knew was her native language of Kipokot. But now she's speaking Kiswahili fluently, and she's improving day by day. That's a shocking revelation that I cannot explain. How do you explain that somebody who did not another language has now learned a language instantly? She didn't go to school. Let me summarize. Let me put it in this way as I come to a conclusion of this shocking phenomena, stunning phenomena, sign and wonder of our times, that if I was to write a book, it will be voluminous books, more than Schwartz's Principles of Surgery. I'm sure I will take one system or one organ to describe how the brain came back to normal that usually doesn't come back to normal. I will write about the cardiovascular system. I will write about the central nervous system. I will write about the musculoskeletal system. How a tissue that never comes back when somebody is dead has come back to life. For sure, Mama Rosa was a dead corpse. She was supposed to be buried. She was a smelling dead corpse, but resurrected out of the authority of the mightiest prophet of the Lord. This is the most powerful prophet who authorizes the dead to come back to life, who authorized every organ in the body to come back to life. And now Mama Rosa is alive, is walking. And therefore we need to honor he who is walking amongst us. We need to respect him. We need to fear him. And we need to obey all that he is saying. And therefore whatever he says, precious people, beloved people, must be from the Lord. Because the only giver of life, as a doctor, is God himself. No doctor have ever brought anybody to life, whether in the developed countries or wherever continent you mention or wherever country. Nobody has ever brought life from a dead corpse. But in this case, the authority of the mightiest prophet of the Lord was able to resurrect a dead corpse. This is a new phenomenon called resurrection. It's not found anywhere in the medical literature. It's not found anywhere, and I didn't come across in my medical school. And therefore, as a surgeon, I took keen interest and recorded everything that happened in this body that resurrected in Mama Rosa. And this process of recovery, post-resurrection, I've clearly described them in my daily journal. And therefore it has shocked me, it has shocked us in the entire medical fraternity. And I would welcome all my colleagues, wherever they are, that you can come and we do our research, because we have never come across such a phenomenon where a dead body, a rotting dead body, a corpse, decomposing corpse, comes back to life. And as we speak now, she's well, she's not in any danger anymore. In fact, she's eating, she's walking, although still slowly, she's still recovering. Some of the joints are still stiff a bit, but the shoulders now are lighter. She can walk without support. She can go downstairs without being assisted. And therefore, I just want to say one thing. We have a prophet sent by God himself who has brought a decomposing corpse back to life. This is an amazing story, a stunning story, has never been done anywhere in any research institution. No life has ever been brought back. No dead corpse have ever been brought back in any hospital, in any research institution, in any facility, medical facility. And therefore, this is a shocking phenomena, stunning phenomena that has turned the tables down in the medical field. That now our eyes have been opened, because we have never imagined or dreamt of bringing a dead corpse back to life. And therefore, this is a reality of our age, this is a reality of our times, this is a sign and wonder of our times, that a dead corpse have been brought back to life by the authority of the mightiest prophet of the Lord.
Mama alikuwa amekufa kitambo. Amekufa. Lakini wakati neno lilipokuja, nikatoka nje, nikasimama kwa mlango, nikaita wasichana yangu, nikaambia kwa kipokota, "Kaneka, kucha ndani. Iko maneno hapa. Iko message. Iko maneno hapa." Hai. Nikaambia msichana, "Angalia, imetoka kwa nabii wa Mungu na amesema it is well." Nikamwambia, "Let us celebrate." Wacha tusherekee. Let us celebrate. Wacha tusherekee. Nabii wa Mungu amesema it is well. Let us celebrate. Wacha tusherekee.
Bwana asifiwe, nimeokoka. Yesu ni Bwana. Mimi ndio Mama Rosa yule alikufa kutoka Chepakten. Kwa hivyo sasa, kama sio nabii huyu wa Mungu, hakuna mtu yule angeweza kunifufua. Lakini yeye ndio ninawaeleza watu ya dunia wote, msikie. Huyu nabii anakifungua ile alifungua Mama Rosa kutoka mauti. Ile alifungua Mama Rosa kutoka mauti, ndio sasa Mama Rosa ndio huyu anaongea sahi na nyinyi. Munaona vile iko, lakini sahi mwili wapelekea kukua mzuri, lakini ukijana alikuwa tofauti. Na Mungu yuko anasiri anaponya. Mutaona ataponya mpaka nyinyi wengine mutashangaa, mutakataa. Lakini asante kwa nabii wanyakati wa mwaka hii vile alikuja akatuma dunia hii, ninarudishia asante. Kwa sababu alikuja vile alisikia Mama Rosa amekufa, akasema neno moja, akasema it is well. Na Mama Rosa akafufuka mpaka wa leo hii, ndio bado naongea na nyinyi. Ndio mimi naeleza wa nyinyi wote, hii Mungu wetu huyu anakifungua, ile anafungua mtu kutoka mauti. Kwa sababu hii bado unataka nini? Si amefungua Mama Rosa kutoka mauti. Mpaka saa hii hapo naongea na nyinyi. Msikie vizuri, kwa sababu yeye ndiyo akona nguvu ya kuweza kupeleka sisi wote mbinguni. Hakuna mahali pengine tukifuata yake. Yeye ndio mkubwa, ni mkubwa kushinda wote. Kwa hivyo mimi ni Mama Rosa Samson kutoka Chepakten. Kwa sasa nimewaambia nyinyi huyu nabii wetu ana nguvu, kwa sababu alitoa Mama Rosa ile ingelikuwa amefunikwa na mchanga, akakawanyisha na mchanga. akawanyisha na mchanga. Ndio mpaka sasa yuko naongea na nyinyi. Sasa nyinyi bado mnataka nini tena? Na mmesikia wengine ameniona. Sasa nyinyi bado mnataka nini tena? Kwa hivyo mtutubi samsetu na tufuate ya nabii. Tufuate hii ya nabii wetu huyu. Yeye ndio ana nguvu. Yeye ndio mtu wa Mungu. Kwa sababu yeye ni mtu wa Mungu, kwa sababu alitoa Mama Rosa ili alikuwa amekufa. Yule alikuwa amekufa. Kama ingekuwa sio yeye, singelikuwa nimeoza na nimesaulika. Kwa hivyo ninawaeleza wote wa dunia, ninawasalamia ninyi wote, mfuate hii ya nabii huyu. Hapo anakifungua, anaweza fungua mtu kutoka mauti. So mnaona alitoa Mama Rosa, alifungua kutoka mauti na akaonyesha na mchanga. Na mnaona sasa bado naongea na nyinyi, na mtaona yeye atasidi akipona maka kesho. Mtajua ni yeye kwa sababu wa huyu Mungu, kwa sababu wa huyu Mungu wa nabii. Kama angekuwa yeye hakuna uwezo, kama angekuwa mwingine hakuna uwezo, lakini amepona kwa sababu wa Mungu wa huyu nabii wetu.
name is Dr. Toromoko J. I am a Senior Assistant Director of Medical Services or Medical Specialist 1 working for Kenya government. I have worked for over 20 years, and the first I worked as a medical officer in Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital when I was based in Eldoret, and then later on I came to Baringo District Hospital where I became the District Medical Officer of Health for the entire district. And then later on I came to the provincial headquarters Nakuru, where I was coordinating the HIV program for the entire Rift Valley province. And then currently I am the sub-county medical officer of health for Nakuru North. I oversee the entire facilities of Nakuru North. So recently there was a very shocking incident of Mama Rosa's case of death and resurrection. And from my knowledge, which I acquired in medical school, I read quite a number of books. We have even the books of pathology, you know, they are voluminous books. And all of them, there is none where it is indicating that death can be reversed. But there is this case of Mama Rosa who died and actually resurrected again. And I followed closely, and Mama Rosa underwent all the processes of death. There was no respiratory effort. She stopped breathing completely. And there was no heartbeat. The heart also died. The brain also died. So all the systems of the body that support life came to a standstill. And after death, this woman resurrected, came back to life. This is something that has shocked us as medics. I've tried to analyze, because when somebody has died, there is nowhere indicating that somebody can be reversed. Death can never be reversed. Because even the system of the body, maybe just to give you a little bit of how life is sustained, the smallest unit of the human being is the cell. And when you combine several cells, you get the tissues, then you get the organs, you get the systems. And there are systems which support life in the body. We have the respiratory system. This is the system that provides oxygen on a regular basis to make sure that that oxygen is applied to the body. We have also the gastrointestinal tract. This is the system that allows energy in terms of food to come to the body. And then we have the cardiovascular system. Cardiovascular system comprises of the heart and the blood vessels. This is the system that distributes the oxygenated food to the various tissues of the body, to the various organs of the body to be used, especially the brain. And remember that the brain, if it is deprived of oxygenated blood for more than 3 to 5 minutes, it just dies. So the case of Mama Rosa is a shock. It has shocked the medical fraternity. We are shocked because we don't know how to explain. And we have been following and documenting the processes of resurrection. Because initially, in medical knowledge, we only know of the processes of death. We know that somebody, when just dies, she undergoes the 7 stages of death. And of course, the first one, you know, it is pala mortis, where the person becomes pale. And then the second stage, halka mortis, you know, the person becomes cold, the body becomes cold because there is no blood circulating in the body. And then the third stage is rigor mortis. There is no nutrient called adenosine triphosphate in the body. And the muscles of the body require that nutrient, adenosine triphosphate, for its normal contraction. So if it is not supplied, then there is no muscle contraction. The muscles become stiff and rigid. Mama Rosa reached that stage. And of course, there are other stages which somebody undergoes until it reaches the stage of skeletonization. So for me as a medical practitioner to have documented now the processes of reversal of death, it is a shock and a wonder. Because now medicine cannot explain. It is only in the supernatural that we can find such. So it is my wish that if this knowledge can actually be incorporated into medicine, because it is a new area, it's a new chapter in medicine. We have never seen people resurrecting. Every time somebody dies, we just dispose. But now there is hope, because Mama Rosa has just resurrected. In conclusion, I would like to say this. As a medical practitioner, having worked for over 20 years as a medic in the area of medicine and surgery, and I've never seen any case of reversal of death. It has never happened in medicine, because when the brain dies, and it dies just after 3 to 5 minutes, you can never talk of any reversal. That person is gone.
Von der medizinischen Sichtweise, als die Oberärzte kamen. Sie kamen sehr schnell in dieses Haus, zu diesem Zuhause. Sie kamen, als Rosa in das Leben gebracht hast. Und danke, mächtigster Prophet des Herrn, dass du eingeschritten bist. Liebe Leute, lasst uns jetzt reingehen in das Zimmer von Rosa und lasst uns das Bett anschauen.
Parce que le Seigneur a pu témoignage, a pu et certifié qu'il est vraiment le prophète que Dieu lui-même a envoyé. Anakula, Nasasa, Mama Rosa, Anaketi, Nasasa, Mama Rosa. Ja joukossa on lakimiehiä. Joukoissa on tohtoreita, poliisipäälliköitä, professoreita, lakimiehiä, leskiä, orpoja, kaikista yhteiskuntaluokista ja vauvasta vaariin. Ihmiset ovat
Asifiwe tena. Tushukuru Mungu yetu. Mungu yetu ametenda maajabu. Kwa hivyo tushukuru Mungu yetu ya nabii. Anatujua leo. Huyu Mungu ya nabii ni Mungu ya kutisha. Narudishia Mungu asante.
Yokina tarara sana.
Rudisha Rosa ile ilikuwa ngeosa saa hii.
Nyaga yokurosa nyaga takini nya. Nyaga yokisa pep.
Kwa sasa
akwenda ye.
Turudishie Mungu yetu hii.
Yokina tarara tunyenye tenye.
Asante.
Sara.
Alafu mjue hakuna Mungu mwingine kama hii ya nabii.
Mungu mwingine
na leo kila siku mimi nilikuwa ongea Kiswahili.
Sisi tunafanya na Kiswahili.
Mpaka nimeongea.
My name is Dr. Catherine Wangoi, retired Deputy Director of Medical Services, consultant pediatrician, I've been a doctor for the last 39 years. And in those 39 years, I've encountered very many people who've been very seriously sick and they've died. Death is a terminal event, irreversible, because once somebody stops breathing, the systems cannot be sustained because the body, every cell needs oxygen. Even the heart, which is the main organ, that pumps blood throughout the body. Once there is no oxygen, the heart also stops. So there is no blood going to all the organs, and all of them, they fail, collapse, what we call total organ failure. And it's not possible, once somebody has died, to be reversed again. The brain dies, the liver dies, the kidneys, and the respiratory system was the first to die. The nerves, the muscles, the digestive system, all of them have collapsed. And when it gets there are no options left for that particular person. But recently, I was very shocked and stunned. A lady in West Pokot who died and later on resurrected. Very surprising. She started sneezing and coughing and breathing again. This cannot be found in the medical science. And from the records of the doctor who's been looking after her, for the first 3 days after she started breathing, she had a very characteristic smell of death. Then she was smelling so badly, meaning her digestive system was decomposing. And normally the digestive system has many, many bacteria. And when it starts decomposing, those bacteria are in millions. And she cannot survive with such infection. A normal person, even if you just rot a small section of the gut, is a medical emergency. That part must be removed for that person to survive. So it's very amazing how this particular lady survived 3 days smelling like a dead person, white eyes. And the way we know it in the medical science, there's particular biological systems which must be working for life to be sustained. As I said, there is no medical science that can reverse death. So for this lady to have come back to life, to be resurrected, is some power apart from the medical knowledge. And that power is so massive, so mighty, that power doesn't need working biological systems to sustain life. It is a big puzzle. How did it happen? Who kept her alive? Then slowly, she regained her strength without any medical intervention, her eyesight, her hearing, her nerves. She started feeding. And then she could sit with support. Eventually she's walking. This is a very big phenomena. Coming back to life is a big thing because she's surviving on other powers apart from the medical science. And I can't understand it, I can't explain it, it's not in medical textbook, it's never been written. I've never heard of anybody who has come back from the dead. And this is a lot of hope that there is a very mighty power that can return people from the dead and keep them and sustain them.
Consultant surgeon. Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. With an experience of more than 20 years. In fact, today, I should be operating patients at the referral hospital. That's why I'm here today. Nowhere in the medical literature where somebody has come back, somebody whose heart has stopped, the lungs have collapsed, the blood have clotted in the blood vessels, brain death have said, the brain have died. Nowhere in the whole world. That's why I thank the mightiest prophet of the Lord. History, science, whatever field you mention has been changed. Let me just explain to you briefly why Rosa had to cough and sneeze. Because the lungs had collapsed. So she had to jump start the lungs to cough. A mighty miracle. Nowhere in the whole world. An experience of more than 20 years. Nowhere in the medical literature where somebody whose brain died, whose heart has stopped, the lungs have collapsed, has come back. Nowhere in the whole world. Nowhere. This is a mighty miracle. That's why I thank the mightiest prophet of the Lord.
My name is Dr. Maurice Wakwabubi. I'm a consultant surgeon and currently working in Kitale as a Chief Officer for Health, as a Provincial Director of Medical Services here in Western Province. It's very clear that Mama Rosa actually was not breathing, so there was no cardiac activities and there was no breathing. So basically Mama Rosa was dead. When she was dead, the children were actually literally crying outside. And the husband wrote a message to the mighty prophet of the Lord and said that it is well. And Mama Rosa sneezed back and started breathing. This phenomenon cannot be explained medically. This to us is a miracle. So this was purely a miracle through the word of a mighty prophet of the Lord. And to me, as a profession, yeah, we confirm that the lady was dead. Yes, we confirm that with the word from the mighty prophet of the Lord, the lady came back to life. And it just confirms that it's a miracle. This phenomenon cannot be explained from the scientific terms, cannot be explained in the medical terms, cannot be explained in the worldly terms or in any other terms, but can only explain that it's a miracle by the mighty prophet of the Lord. And it just confirms that it's a miracle. And to me it's very clear in my mind, no doubt, that these are the end times. And when God said that, promised in the Old Testament, that before the coming of the Messiah, that the Lord will release back the spirit of the prophet Elijah. And prophet Elijah actually resurrected life to death to life. And that is exactly what the mighty prophet has done. So to me it is very clear that these are the end times and the Messiah is coming. This phenomenon cannot be explained from the scientific terms, cannot be explained in the medical terms, cannot be explained in the worldly terms or in any other terms, but can only explain that it's a miracle by the mighty prophet of the Lord and the Messiah is coming. That is actually the simple message to me and to the whole world, that they should get that the Messiah is coming, and this is the prophet that God has brought to lead the church before the Messiah comes.
I'm Dr. Silas Wahudu, a retired Senior Assistant Director on Medical Services with 34 years experience. The bulk of these years I have served in psychiatric units at both the Provincial General Hospital Kakamega and at the Mathari Hospital in Nairobi. We are discussing the uncomfortable and unwelcome subject of death to most of us. And in hospital settings, when a patient's condition deteriorates at the bedside, the doctor will start by examining the presence of respiratory effort. That is whether a patient is still breathing. If this is absent, they move on to the heart and they will examine the heart, see whether there's a heartbeat. If there's no heartbeat, then the next organ to be examined is the brain. And usually, when the brain is functional, the eye responds to light by controlling the size of the pupil. Now, in this case, a doctor will shine a bright light into the eye, and if the brain has ceased function, a patient is certified dead. The pupil will be dilated and unresponsive to light. We refer to this as dilated and fixed.
Macho sasa akatoa macho nje.
Kuchiri nyukwani manikoni sang.
Mimi nikajaribu kushikashika.
Ati Allah anamanda mle.
Nikashika uso.
Meleta kach.
Nikarudisha ngozi ya macho.
Aliyo kwa kwani chi, mlendo kwa aliyo kwani.
Aiteremuka nikakimbia nje.
Alipasang.
Tukapiga nduru nje.
What happens after death, in fact within minutes of death, is that because of lack of supply of oxygen, the chemical reactions that now take place in the body are different. They lead to breakdown of tissues. So the cells break down, they discharge their contents, and these contents contain enzymes, among other chemicals. These enzymes will go right ahead and begin digesting the tissues next to them. Then the other process that happens is that of bacterial multiplication. Because the immunity has ceased its function, bacteria multiply unimpeded. And as they multiply, they bring in the process of putrefaction. That is the process of rotting. So these two processes will continue alongside each other, and depending on the environmental temperature, this can go on fast or slowly. Next, the body begins losing its heat at the rate of about 1 degree centigrade per hour, and thereafter up to the point where there's equilibrium between the body and the environmental temperature. The blood in the vessels begins pooling, clots form, and the process of digestion also of the cells starts. So this discolors the body. Finally, the muscles, within about 2 hours or so, they begin stiffening, starting from the head, going downward towards the feet. So they stiffen, and this is what eventually is known as rigor mortis. Now, to us in Kenya, we received breaking news of Mama Rosa. Mama Rosa, who had died, had been certified by a senior doctor, Dr. Zachary Kasipoi, a consultant surgeon. Mama Rosa, upon word being sent to the mightiest prophet, within hours of that, was noted to sneeze, and she sneezed 3 times and eventually coughed, signs that breath had come back into her body. So Mama Rosa has been resurrected, and she's moving away gradually from death. Life that is increasingly coming towards normal, moving away from death. We are able to document the processes of this improvement. This is unreported anywhere. It's unrecorded and unknown, that we be able to record step by step the improvement that is recorded in Mama Rosa's body. This is a new science, the science of resurrection underway.
My name is Dr. Bosire. I am a dentist by profession. I've been a dentist for 11 years now. I have worked in various hospitals in Nakuru, beginning from the PGH Nakuru to Bahati Hospital, and later I was in an hospital called St. Anthony, where I was actively involved in helping patients to manage their conditions. Today, I want to speak about death because there is a particular case that attracted my attention of a particular lady who had died and now is alive. Medicine explains death as a permanent end to the processes, the vital processes of cells and tissues. And the body, a human body, is made up of cells, tissues, and organs. So many organs will make the body, and many tissues will make organs, and tissues are made up of cells. So when these cells, the processes, the vital processes of these cells end, then now that person is said to have died. So as a dentist who is majorly working in the face, in the head, and the neck, it attracted my attention because for somebody to be able to eat what we call in dentistry as mastication, for somebody to be able to eat, which is now chewing and swallowing, a lot of muscles are actively involved in chewing and swallowing, controlling the food in the mouth through to the stomach. This person had died and came back to life, and the tissues had stiffened, the tissues had reached rigor mortis. Medicine will always explain the death of a person when this person reaches rigor mortis. Rigor mortis is a condition or a position, a point where the tissues, the muscles, especially the muscles, will stiffen because they do not have energy. So, for somebody to have passed away, for somebody to have died, then this tissue, the tissue structure, the muscle structure of the face had stiffened. That is why this person cannot be able to eat immediately. And so they required some time to be able to regain strength that they can also actively control the process of mastication. I had to ask, was this person able to speak? And if so, after how many days was she able to speak? They told me she spoke immediately, but later she was not able to speak until after the 3rd day when she was able to speak.
It is well. And those are the words that brought this lady back to life. And when she came back to life, she asked, who brought me back? And in Kiswahili she said, nani amenirudisha? 2 times. And the answer she was given was, Yesu amekurudisha. In other words, Jesus has brought you back. And since that time, she never mentioned any words. For 3 days she did not eat anything. For 3 days she was asleep. And on the 4th day, that's when she started taking liquids.
I knew that for sure that these muscles had died. Usually when a person dies, the 4 basic muscles of the face, the buccinator muscle, the temporalis muscle, the orbicularis muscle, and also the thyroid muscle, which are working together actively to be able to necessitate the functions of the face. And so when this person reaches rigor mortis, the muscles of the face are among the first muscles to reach rigor mortis. And so this person, after coming back from the dead, after coming back to life, this person is not able to speak or even eat because the muscles are not in coordination. Then I knew for sure that something had happened. So I went further and asked what had happened. Then I was told there is some supernatural power that brought her back to life. Then I said, as a medical practitioner, this one is not documented in any book, and these books are very large in volumes that do not have any information about how a person is after coming back to life. Then I said, as medical practitioners, we need to embrace this phenomenon, the phenomenon that has brought somebody back to life after death. Lastly, I want to speak to the medical practitioners wherever they are. Indeed, this is a stunning occurrence. It is a stunning phenomenon that a person can come back to life after death.
In my experience, when someone dies or passes on, there are various changes that normally occur to the body of the person who has passed on. These changes include both physical and chemical changes that occur to the body right from the time of death. And they occur in stages, and most of the time specialists use these changes to determine the time intervals that occur after death. So there are those immediate changes that occur. Then we have the early changes and the late changes. We have the cessation of respiration, cessation of cardiac activity, changes that occur to the eye, absence of reflexes, and also primary flaccidity. So once you have noticed that this has happened to a patient who has changed condition, postmortem changes begin to take place. We have early postmortem changes and late postmortem changes. Then the next change that occurs is called rigor mortis. Rigor mortis is a postmortem rigidity and or stiffening, in other words. So this happens due to lack of production of energy. We call it ATP energy. So the muscles are not able to produce energy to cause movement. So lack of that production of energy makes the muscles to stiffen. At this point, you normally see that a body is now stiff. It cannot be flexed or extended. It cannot be moved in any direction. Now, it has come to our attention that a lady by the name, a woman in South Pokot by the name Mama Rosa, died and came back to life. Basically, it has not been recorded anywhere in the medical literature. There are no medical reports that show that evidence that there was someone who died and came back to life and what happened after they came back to life medically. So there is no documentation anywhere. And this is now happening for the first time, and it's even a shock, and it's a stun to most medical practitioners. So with Mama Rosa, for her to die and come back to life, it is a wonder and it's a miracle. And I have pictures with me after she came back to life, and I can see she has extensive rigidity and stiffening of the muscles. Like I can see the hands are very stiff. I can see the upper limbs are also very stiff, and the hands has obvious deformities. I can see the upper limbs and the lower limbs are still very stiff. This picture also shows the same. There are obvious bony prominences. You can see the shoulders and the obvious deformities that are in the hands. This one still giving us evidence that there is a stiffening of the hands and the feet, the hands and the legs. This is Mama Rosa, who had died and came back to life. So with these kind of pictures that I see, it makes me wonder, could it be that she died longer? Because by the time we were getting stiffening, it had already, that was rigor mortis that had already set in. So could it be that it had taken more hours? And since she came back to life, what has been remarkable is that there has been stepwise developments from the time she came back to life. She coughed and sneezed, and she did not immediately start moving and doing the normal functions of life. It took some time before she started doing the basic functions of life. So it gives you evidence that there was damage to the neurological system, there was damage to the GIT system, there was damage to the respiratory and the cardiac system, there was also damage to the musculoskeletal and the renal system. Because when she comes back, they come back in steps, a stepwise development. At first she was not able to walk. She could not walk because of the extreme stiffness and extreme rigidity. Then she could not feed. She did not have appetite at that time. This means that also the gut had suffered injury. Then she could not see people, and she could not hear, and she could not even perceive the taste of food. So this also means that the CNS, or the nervous system, had basically been injured and damaged because of lack of oxygen for those hours that she was dead. Then this gives you evidence that she suffered some fatal injury to basically all her systems. That's why it came back in stepwise, and it happened step by step. She could not see for the first 6 days. Then she started having normal bowel movements and going to the toilet for short calls after about 14 days. So meaning that the renal system had been shut down and was now being restarted. And also the gut could not absorb the food as it's supposed to do. So because it had lacked oxygen for a while, so it also took that amount of time to come back. And this, in my opinion, as a medical practitioner, I have never seen it anywhere in the world. It has not been recorded also anywhere in the medical literature. So it's evidence that a woman who died came back to life and then started having basic functions. It's even a shock, and it's a stun to medical practitioners.
My My name is Dr. Nelson Jenga. I am a general practitioner. So today I would like to talk about death, the irreversible cessation, the irreversible stoppage of the respiratory function, the circulatory function, and the brain function. Rigor mortis, which is the stiffening of the joints and the muscles of the body after death. After death. Decomposition, the foul smell of death, and then there is production of gaseous element that is so obnoxious. It is foul smelling. So these are the stages that now are attributed with death. In medical history, there is no place, there is no instance, there is no time that there has been reversal of death. The pupils are dilated, the eyes, the pupils of the eye become dilated and fixed, and they do not react to light, and the pupils have dilated, then it means now death has come. Death has taken place.
Na kunyosha tu miguu kabisa. Na kukojoa.
Akisakas.
Nikarudi kushika roho.
Alimla na mkulu.
Amenyamaza. Nikajua ameenda. Na kaenda hivyo akatoa ulimi nje.
Kumusingalia busanga.
Vitu kama mate nje.
Akipata kundana nyawula.
Macho sasa akatoa macho nje.
Kuchiri nyukoni malikoni sang.
Mimi nikajaribu kushika.
Ati Allah anamanda mle.
Nikashika uso.
Anema leta kat.
Nikarudisha ngozi ya macho.
Ayo kwa kwani chi anema ilenda kwa ayo kwa.
Aiteremuki. Nikalia.
Allah kan.
Tukashika miguu ati tunajaribu kukunja, nikajaribu kukunja haikunjiki.
Anema kelele tata ata yokuna la makuyokunya kelele.
Mimi nikaenda kuchukua siti.
Awachang ship.
Tukamfunika yeye.
Yeye anachanyinde.
Tukakutetemeka.
Atorapata.
Nikatoka nikakimbia nje.
Alipasang.
Mtoto wa dadangu akanifuata.
Tulipana montaje bencha.
Tukapiga nduru nje.
And that is when we use those parameters, simple parameters, to certify death, to now say that this person has died.
Mungu wetu, Mungu wa nabii, Jehova amefufua Mama Rosa, na sasa Mama Rosa anakula, na sasa Mama Rosa anaketi, na sasa Mama Rosa anatembea. Mungu wetu. Sikieni, Mungu wa nabii Jehova amefufua Mama Rosa, na sasa Mama Rosa anakula, na sasa Mama Rosa anaketi. It is well, Mungu wetu, Mungu wa nabii Jehova.
Mama alikuwa amekufa kitambo. Amekufa. Lakini wakati neno lilipokuja, nikatoka nje, nikasimama kwa mlango, nikaita wasichana yangu, nikaambia kwa kipokota, "Kaleka, kucha ndani. Iko maneno hapa. Iko message. Iko maneno hapa." Hai. Nikaambia msichana, "Angalia, imetoka kwa nabii wa Mungu na amesema it is well." Nikamwambia, "Let us celebrate. Wacha tusherekee. Let us celebrate. Wacha tusherekee. Iko maneno hapa. Iko message. Iko maneno hapa. Let us celebrate. Wacha tusherekee. Iko maneno hapa. Iko message. Iko maneno hapa. Angalia, imetoka kwa nabii wa Mungu na amesema it is well. Let us celebrate. Wacha tusherekee. Iko maneno hapa. Iko message. Iko maneno hapa. Hai. Let us celebrate. Wacha tusherekee. Iko maneno hapa. Iko message. Iko maneno hapa. Let us celebrate. Wacha tusherekee. Iko maneno hapa. Iko message. Iko maneno hapa. Iko message. Hai. Angalia, imetoka kwa nabii wa Mungu na amesema it is well. Let us celebrate. Wacha tusherekee. Wacha tusherekee. Wacha tusherekee. Wacha tusherekee.
I have seen